right, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Ty Butler in the house. How we doing today on this Monday, February 9th, 2026, in the year of our Lord? Ty D Butler is where you can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, streaming live right now on YouTube and Twitter. Hit me at Ty D Butler. Hit that subscribe button, I should say. Follow me on TikTok. We ringing off out here. You see, I got my jet hat on because look, today's a celebration, man. Today's a celebration, dog. Like, think about it, man. The Jets got it right. They drafted the correct quarterback, and he won the Super Bowl. So, am I allowed to like celebrate it as half of a Super Bowl win for the Jets because they nailed that pick with Sam Darnold, number 3 overall in the 2018 draft? They did. So, shout out to the Seahawks for doing what I think most people expected, and that was bludgeon the Patriots. Now, if you go on ESPN New York's social media account, what you will see is I did pick the Patriots to win the game 27-23. And part of it was I like in the experience of, watching these games, it's like you have so many people on one side. Something about that is fishy. Like I knew going and I guess I overthought it, right? Because going into it, I knew the Seattle Seahawks were the better team uh, on both ends, right? Like defensively, we saw them put on a clinic yesterday. Excellently coached, roster put together really well. The Patriots have, in my estimation, the better coach quarterback combo, but just as far as like leading up to this point, which team had proven to be better resume wise? It was obviously Seattle. And despite that, I picked the Patriots just because I didn't feel comfortable with everyone being on one side and me being on that side because there are some points in history where that happens, like 2007, 2011 Giants overwhelmingly underdogs, and we see them pull out the upset. And because of the circumstances, the Super Bowl is just a different game. It's not just all about football. You got the pomp and circumstance. You got, the halftime show, which we'll get into. Um, so I like it's not a normal game and one that you can just analyze based on like X's and O's, stats. It's an outlier, biggest game of the year where so many different external factors come into play. And I overthought it. I picked the Patriots because I thought, man, they've beaten some top defenses, that they are battle tested in that regard. Drake May can't possibly be as bad as he had been the last 3 games. Finished second in MVP. And everyone's on the Seattle side. I got to go the other way just because I didn't feel comfortable with that. And I was proven wrong, but gleefully and happily proven wrong because I don't got to sit here and watch yet another New England Patriots celebration. And so I'm just excited that the Seahawks got it done. What a sad day for Boston sports, by the way. Man, you had the Celtics get bludgeoned at home by the Knicks. You had the Patriots get annihilated by the Seahawks. Terrible, terrible day. My man Robin Lundberg, content creator who I got to know from his time at ESPN Radio, one of the good guys in this business, always shows love. He joins the show right now. Robin, appreciate you hopping on here, man. It's been a minute. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. So we talked about this game last week not having buzz, and it proved not to be anything like what we expected. Just as far as like the 2 seed versus the number 1 seed, I don't know how long you stayed with it because it wasn't a great game, but not a lot of juice. It was kind of indicative of what we had leading up to this Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, the real truth of the matter is the NFL season ends with the conference championship games. Every year it ends that way because the Super Bowl is its own thing. It stops being the NFL season
Yeah.
and it becomes this spectacle, this slice of Americana, and apparently, a referendum on whoever the halftime act is every single year. And that is the way it is. Now, does it matter for the NFL that it doesn't have juice? Not once the ratings come out. Nobody's, it's going to be the most viewed thing in American television history or whatever. But yeah, that's now 2 years in a row where the game itself has kind of sucked, right? Especially with the playoffs being good. I don't remember what was the Super Bowl 3 years ago, but the Eagles smacked the Chiefs last year, and then
The Niners, it was Niners, Chiefs.
Okay, yeah,
Like with the overtime.
yeah, that was good. But this one, it was just kind of meh. I mean, everything about it going in, the matchup didn't really excite people because it didn't have some of the stars in the league, the biggest name players in the league. And when I saw Seattle play San Francisco in the first round, I knew they were going to win because Sam Darnold threw for like 130 yards and they scored 40 points. That is just a really good team. But as far as the takeaway, one of the reasons you hear nobody actually talking about the game today, right? Like I don't even, this is the first time anybody's asked me about the game.
Yeah, it's funny because last week I talked about this, and you and I are both like basketball guys, and for better or for worse, what drives a lot of the conversation in the NBA is legacy. Like you're a big LeBron guy, I'm a big Kobe guy. They played a lot of high leverage games with like legacy on the line. And to your point, last year was about the Eagles, Hurt, Sirianni versus the Chiefs trying to do something no team in NFL history had done, winning 3 straight. We just didn't have legacy storylines. Like it's cool, and I'm wearing my Jet hat today for Sam to get the ring, but like you said, it's not that big of a story in the grand scheme of things. And then you've got Drake May, second-year quarterback, second in MVP variable. Like it just wasn't sexy. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, most people didn't know Drake May was. Sam Darnold's a nice story, but it's not. It's not Patrick Mahomes. It wasn't Tom Brady from before that. The Eagles have that Philadelphia sports fan base around them. It was one of those matchups that we've seen them before. I remember when the Steelers played the Cardinals, or they get these matchups throughout the years where it's not like exactly.
But at least you had Tomlin and Big Ben, right? Like that, Larry Fitzgerald. Like you still had something.
I guess, yeah. I don't know, but in the grand scheme of things, yeah, most people are gonna, if you're not a Seahawks fan, forget about this very quickly.
All right, so we got to talk because you and I are both music heads. Your thoughts on the halftime show? I thought it was cool, man. And for me, it's a different experience because, my family's Puerto Rican. Like I'm black, but my wife's Puerto Rican, so my kids are half Puerto Rican. I was in the house of the in-laws last night. They had the flags and everything going culturally, so it was a pretty cool experience. For you, like, what did you make of it?
I thought it was super dope, man. Look, I mean, I'm not Puerto Rican. I don't speak Spanish. I did live uptown for quite a while, and a lot of Puerto Rican, Dominican culture up there, and go out in the streets and hear that and feel that. But yeah, I mean, it was a vibe, and I don't buy. I find it to be with the bullshit that all this Kid Rock stuff going on, and like the idea that people are so mad. I just can't take you. There's no way you're actually that mad about a concert at halftime of the game. And I'm not even a big but I knew who Bad Bunny was through WWE. That's how I found out when he wrestled Damian Priest. And then I'd heard the name, but I wasn't that familiar with his music. I'd heard it here or there and played. It's not my jam, where even now I'm not going to be like putting the Bad Bunny on in the car or in the headphones or whatever. But I know, it was a party. It was a house party. And it was a bop that I was feeling it. I like the celebration of culture that it had, and the message, like, how could anyone be offended by the message, which was like, we're all in this together, bro. So, yeah, it's just, it's a sad reflection on our culture sometimes, and the state of affairs politically, where people feel like they have to take these wild positions, and sometimes it works both ways. But in this instance, it was more like the idea of like, how you don't speak English and you're doing the halftime show? Like, I'm gonna go outside and mow my lawn as a protest.
Oh, fold laundry. Yo, I don't know if you saw, I don't whatever. Michelle Tafoya last night embarrassed herself. And she's like protesting, and she said, "I'm gonna do something I've never done before, and that's fold laundry." And I'm just like,
Okay,
are
yeah,
you
don't watch it. Like, it's fine. Like, it ain't a big deal. Like, there's plenty of things. And, year in and year, I have ones that I prefer. When this was announced, I wasn't excited about it, but I wasn't angry.
Yo, I just find it very it's so telling that the same people who are like boycotting a decade ago, right? Because of kneeling, they boycotted the NFL, and now all of a sudden they're back boycotting the halftime show. But it's like, yo, I thought you guys stopped watching football. And then you have folks that are like, I'm not turning that thing on. And then instantly we'll give you an entire rundown of everything they hated about the performance. So it's like, I thought you weren't watching it. How are you in real time able to critique every aspect of the performance? So you're right, man. It's performative, it's garbage. And it was just so unnecessary. Like, if you're not a fan of the music, cool. Like, you're not going to be a fan of, every single artist that, Apple Music puts out there. But to be angry about it, I just thought it was nuts. The whole thing, his shirt, what'd you make of it?
I mean,
His sweater.
there's a part of me that feels like it was an album announcement. I
Really?
mean, I mean, I don't
But you
know.
do this a lot, Robin. You do this a lot.
Oh,
You
yeah.
and I think some of it is wishful thinking on your
Oh,
part.
100%. Some of it is wishful thinking. But so it's either just like random Rock Nation merchandise, right? Or it's an album announcement. But like the line itself, the game needs me. One, he knows where he's going to be, so he knows that's going to be on camera or whatever. So if it's just a random hoodie and they're trying to sell the hoodies, fine. But finish the line or start the line. Can't leave rap alone.
The
The game
game
needs
needs
me.
me.
I mean, it feels almost too on the nose to not mean something. No, I don't know. And I also just feel like whether it's an album or not, we need to hear from him. It's like time, like to hear, and he usually addresses all the stuff around him in lyrics and in a verse, something like it's not like. I mean, the Tony Busby thing was a little different, and then the press releases or whatnot. But in general, over the years, it's been that way. So, and it's been what was the last verse? God did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I want to hear from him. So
is that just because of this like controversy surrounding him, or you just like musically, like you want to hear from the GOAT, your favorite rapper of all time?
both. I want to hear what he says about it, how he addresses it, how he flips it. All the people, like there's been a lot of nonsense around him. And then, like what will the sound be? What will the approach to it be? And there's something with Jay-Z's music for me that is very like motivational, aspirational, inspirational. So I know for that pocket of my life that it comes out in, I will have something that will give me some fuel and help me, achieve some of my goals.
The problem for me is, I'm a big Hove fan. I just have been like you, kind of, wishing it to happen and kind of trying to will it to happen. And it's been so long. I feel like he's done, but I do think that at some point, like he's going to headline the Super Bowl show. Now, look, like Taylor Swift, she's long due. I think Jelly Roll is going to get his shot, and there's a lot of, and I don't know how much this is going to, be baked into the decision making, but there's a lot of pushback. Like, all right, you've had all these hip hop artists. Like, can we get country? Can we get people like that? But I think at some point, Hove's got to get up there, man.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the two acts. I mean, you could also argue Adele in this mix.
Yeah.
But the two acts that make the most sense to me that haven't done it are Taylor Swift and Jay-Z. And Taylor Swift, we know how big she is. That's a no-brainer. It wouldn't be my preference or my choice, but I would, like, if they announce under Taylor Swift, I would understand.
You're not going to be angry tweeting?
No, I would understand. And yeah, I mean, I think Jay obviously has the catalog, the history, the ability to perform, and even do like a rock concert. Anybody who's been to a Hope concert knows when he does like You Don't Know and PSA and 99 Problems, that in some ways could appease, some of the people who may not realize that when they tune in. But in fairness, I get it too, because since he's taken over, it has been, there hasn't been a rock act or a pop act, has there? Well, I guess Rihanna, if you wouldn't
Yeah.
say.
Which Justin Timberlake was 2018. I don't even remember that until someone
Yeah.
brought it up to me yesterday. He performed in 2018. It was Hove.
No, that
What
was
was it?
before. I think
That was
Jay's
before
first one
Hove?
was J Lo and Shakira.
Oh, Shakira? Okay, that was
Yeah,
2020.
J Lo and Shakira.
So that's a pop, kind of like pop
Yeah,
Latin, kind of.
Weekend, Usher, Rihanna, Dr. Dre, and
Yeah,
them, and then Bad
rest of it.
Bunny and Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah. So I think we're due for one. I do want to talk sports with you, but now that you have me in the music lane, J. Cole's album. So you didn't like it.
Oh, it sucked. It sucked. It sucked.
Yo, Dis 39, I thought had some bops on there. Dis 39 has some
Is
heaters.
that the second one?
That's the second one.
How are you supposed to possibly get to the second one?
Bro, I hate long albums. Like I think my brain has been hacked. Like because I just go back to like that good music era where they would drop it every Friday and they would drop in like these short albums. And I love it because one, attention span, like you got a lot going on in a day. But I like to go through a few listens before I have like a take on the album. I think that that's like a fair way to
Yeah.
analyze. This thing is, bro, because I was listening to it in the gym just now. It's like 2 hours long. 2 hours, 24 songs. It's
I don't
like
want that from anybody, first of all. Like, even my favorites, I would prefer, like, release 2 separate albums with a break in between or something like that. But yeah, J. Cole ain't built for that either. He's not interesting enough. There's nothing about him. His delivery's not interesting enough. His content isn't interesting enough. His beats aren't interesting enough. And I just felt like getting it through. I don't even know if I heard. Maybe I have to go back and play some of the second record, because by the time I got to it, I was exhausted. Going through the first
I like
one.
the second one. You had Burna Boy.
Yeah, that was okay. I heard that one. Yeah.
But even on the first one, he had Thames. You got the Thames. You had the Thames Burna.
I like number 8. Who the F is you? I like that one.
Yeah, Future pop out. Like it was cool. I thought it was cool. But I I'm a gospel dude, so Marvin Sapp, the way he flipped that song. You had the Life Sentence on Dis 39, where it's like an ode to DMX. So he's got a couple bops on the second side of it, but it's just and maybe this makes me a bad music fan, but it's hard for me to listen to J. Cole without remembering what happened in the rap battle.
Well, no, I'm with you. I mean, look, it's that rap is a sport in that sense, and we're used to, whether you take an L or not is a whole different thing than I might delete later and then actually doing it. Like you can't come in, pop and pop off and then later talk about how you're the best and everything. It's gonna, it removes a level of credibility.
Yeah.
It makes you take the person a little less seriously. And what Kendrick Lamar did to Drake and J. Cole collectively, I mean, that's like it's historic stuff. I can't even. I try to think of like a precedent or something that I think is.
There really is none.
Like he came in and he said, big 3, it's just big me, and then just prove like. Both of them are oralists now. They got there were titans on the game. They were viewed as peers, and now Drake is throwing snippet after snippet after snippet, hoping something sticks. And J. Cole won't ever really live that down. He let Nas down, and he won't live this down.
And then Drake was supposed to be on this album. So now, yeah, he was. They talked about it during their tour. They teased it like he's gonna be on a fall off, and Kendrick fractured their relationship. He's out here murdering homes, man. Like that's crazy. But yeah, it's cool. I'm gonna give it another listen. But I did think Dis 39 was a lot better. You excited for Iceman?
No. I mean, I may listen to it out of curiosity, but. If like social media wasn't a thing, I don't even know if I'd listen to it. Look, I've never liked Drake. full stop. Like,
Alright, put me on. Why? What about Drake did you not like?
I mean, I don't like his music. That's number one. And I've always found like him like phony. That was basically like Euphoria, and sort of spoke to that. But it just always irked me. And then I
Mhm.
just don't. No, I don't like his aesthetics, his songs, his music. I never really like. I didn't actively hate him or anything. And there's some stuff I like better than others. My favorite Drake song is "Hold On, We're Going Home." So that tells you, like, because to me that's the kind of thing. Like, you could play that anywhere. Like, I like it. It doesn't sound like all the other Drake songs,
You
but
could tell a lot about how someone feels about an artist based on their favorite song by that artist.
yeah. But the other stuff, like, even the timestamp, they don't do it. They're boring to me. Like, his flow is boring. His whole like airy background stuff is boring. His subject matter is boring. I found it borderline disturbing by the time For All the Dogs came out. Like, the way he talks about his relationships and women and stuff. It's just like,
Like, get over the Rihanna thing already, man.
yeah.
Like, just kill it, like, bro. Like, she's moved on. Like, just moved on, man.
And what would make me interested in the Drake project if he like harnessed all this and came back with something like, and not to be totally unfair, he's tried things that are different. Like, what was the one that had passion fruit on it? Had a different sound.
Yeah.
The
That
honest
was damn, why am I blanking on the name of that album? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
the honestly never mind thing he did, which was terrible, but it had a different like, so I mean, he has tried some different stuff, if I'm going to be fair in my critique, but like, just something that came back and you're inspired. Like,
Mhm.
this was an inspired project, and everything I hear that's been put out there, one, he's not gotten over it, and two, I feel like you've made this song 1,000 times. What makes me want to hear this one?
It's kinda like the dunk contest, though. Like, if you stay in the, because what he's doing to defend Drake, his run is unprecedented. Like, we've
That's not
never
true.
seen what's the
Jay-Z's
precedent?
run.
What's the precedent for a guy to have this much success and still be doing it? Like, you can say you don't like Drake,
Jay.
but he's still highly successful, and some would argue, like, still the best artist in the game.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't
It's
argue.
unprecedented,
No,
what I'm
Jay-Z's
saying.
done it. I
Well,
mean, Jay-Z came out in '96 and through 2017 at least.
yeah, yes, fair. But Jay-Z also, like, took break. Look, I'm a Jay-Z fan, but I'm just like, Drake hasn't taken breaks. Drake's doing it in a different era, streaming.
It's
I just
easier
feel
to
like,
do it in this era, I would say.
yeah, maybe,
Streaming is a lot easier. You don't have to actually go out and purchase the record.
maybe, but my point is, like, his longevity makes it so that, like, how we can knock his creativity, but how much different is he gonna do things when he's been doing it for this long?
Well, but
Like, it's
that's
harder
where
to
that's
come
where
up.
the great artists do it. I mean, I'll cite the two we've. No Kendrick Lamar album sounds like any other Kendrick Lamar album. They're all
Fair.
different, whether you like them or not. They're
Mhm.
they're different projects. You would not confuse Good Kid, Mad City for To Pimp a Butterfly.
Oh,
You would
damn,
not,
yeah.
yeah, or GNX,
Mhm.
with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. You would not confuse those records. And J Ho too, like, the Blueprint was a different sound when it came out than what he was doing on the Volume records.
Mhm.
And then later, he had the big commercial records on Blueprint 3.
Yeah.
When American Gangster was a whole different sound than that. And 444 was an
Mhm.
entire flip on how he's done things before. So that's would be the hope, is like, yeah, I do think there's precedent in that regard for artists taking daring approaches, or their projects feeling distinct when they're actually released.
And you're one of those people who doesn't think he has a classic album? Like, you don't look at Take Care, or and Nothing Was the Same is actually my favorite Drake
Me
project
too. Me
ever.
too. But I wouldn't call it a classic. And isn't Take Care a Weekend album? No.
Yeah, man, come on, dog.
To me, Drake doesn't have a classic album. No.
Okay. What was I gonna say? I had one more music point I wanted to make for you. Oh, so I kinda liked, and this is to go back to the Super Bowl halftime show, like, I thought Cardi was gonna come out and do her song with Bad Bunny, but there's a part of me that liked her just being in the background and just kinda chilling, show her a couple times, and then she's just, not really taking stage with Bad Bunny. And I also thought too, like there was an opportunity for Drake because he's got the song with Bad Bunny to pop out. But is that a good look for him after what happened last year at the Super Bowl halftime show, where it's like you're not even headlining, man. You're a sidekick after Kendrick packed you up.
Yeah, I don't even know the Drake Bad Bunny song. I was expecting Cardi B when we saw her, and considering that's a pretty big record, but he didn't do
Yeah,
that record at all, did he?
no, he didn't.
Yeah,
But I like it like that record.
yeah.
It's the MIA Bad Bunny and Drake. That's their song.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was cool. I want to hit you. I want you to educate me on something because you're heavy and you're deep into the WNBA. So, like, what's the latest? What's going on there, as far as like the contract talks and the CBA and everything going on?
I mean, it's been a lot of status quo and posturing, and you know, they're running out of time to get something done here without delaying the season. More or less, you know, the sticking point in the weeds has been about revenue share. The league just provided their latest proposal on Friday. The players are sitting with it now. But they have to, before the season, which is scheduled to start in May, they need to do an expansion draft because there's two new teams, the Portland Fire and the Toronto Tempo. So they have to have an expansion draft. And the way that works is like each team gets to protect a certain number of players. It was 6 last year. I think it's only going to be 5 this year because there's 2 teams. So that has to happen. Then literally every player in the league is a free agent other than people on their rookie contract and 2 players who aren't. So there are 2 players who aren't on their rookie contract, and players on their rookie contract aren't free agent. The rest of the league is a free agent.
Wow.
So they have to do free agency on top of that. And then the draft itself is in April. So there's a lot of business to be conducted before the season actually starts. So they really do need to get the ball moving on these things. I mean, I just, my hope has always been, and the players have threatened to strike, and the Players Association shared some video of like about the 1964 NBA All-Star strike the other day, and like the whole premise was like timing is everything, which makes me worried that they might strike around NBA All-Star weekend this weekend, because you didn't take a genius to connect those dots, right? But you just got to hope that cooler heads prevail, and everybody understands like this is it would be a facepalm of epic proportions, right? To go from where they were to where they are now and squander it and do anything to fumble what took place. Like since Caitlin Clark showed up, things changed. And from one CBA to the next, even with the worst version of the deal, the average salary is going to go up like 4.5 times. The max salary is going to go up like 5 times, with the worst version of the deal that's been put on the table before negotiations. And it would be like a truly sick irony if they have this explosive growth and then they use it to get into a really good negotiation position, and then everybody fumbles it by delaying a season or canceling a season. I still hope it, generally, like once the way these things work is like once there's an actual deadline, whatever the real, like we need it done by then, that's when it will happen. And the rest is just a bunch of noise. But that's where it's at.
Yeah, it would be sad for that to happen, especially when you have Peyton Pritchard as the face of the league.
Yeah.
Some people might say. But yeah, man, it's May's coming up soon. So what happened? Like, do we get a shortened season?
They can do it. I mean, they would. Yeah, it would be like we've seen before with like lockout shortened season in the NBA, or strike shortened season if they don't get it done soon. But they could still fit it in, I think, if they get it. And look, it's up to their discretion how they handle the events. But I think it probably needs to be done in the next week.
So get on it, man. You're very, your name is ringing bells out here in these WNBA streets. Get on it. You and your boy Ryan Rucco.
I'm working the phones, man. I'm doing what I can.
All right, talk to me about the NBA. You think the Knicks come out the East?
Certainly possible. Let me look at the East. Hold on.
Pistons right now 1, Knicks are 2, Celtics 3. You got the Cavs hanging in there.
Cavs are interesting after that move.
The Harden trade.
It doesn't feel like Jason Tatum's coming back, right?
Nah,
Yeah,
I don't think so. I
because I
watched
would've
the
said
Celtics Knicks yesterday. I just feel like the Celtics don't have enough horses. Like, as good as they've been this year, and Brown has been awesome, you get into a playoff series, you need more than one guy who can score the ball, and I don't think they have that.
well, they got Pritchard. I mean, no joke. He could score the ball.
Yeah,
Uh,
it
yeah,
not what I'm talking about. A guy who can
and Derek
break a
White can
rock,
score the ball too.
a guy who can break a defense down. Like when Jaylen Brown's on the bench. Like you need multiple players who can do that in a playoff series, and I don't think the Celtics have that.
What's the Knicks? Who do the Knicks have?
They've got a bunch. They got Cat, they got Brunson, obviously. You've got
Okay,
Oak.
Cat ain't breaking a defense down though.
Yeah, but you can give him the rock, and when Brunson's on the bench and say, "Yo, carry us offensively." I don't
Yeah.
think the Celtics have that. I
I
just don't
think
think they
those two
have that.
teams are pretty. I think those teams at the top are all on the same level. To be honest with you, like Detroit and the Knicks and the Celtics and maybe even the Cavs. I don't know if there's a huge difference one way or the other. So I feel like when they play, they're going to be long competitive series, like we
Yeah.
saw with the Knicks and the Pacers last year. It's that kind of. I think they're. I don't think one team has separated itself there.
Yeah, are you like fed up with the Giannis stuff? Like, are you just kind of exhausted? I found myself just like, man, we got to deal with this for another 6 months.
Well, it's
Like
over with for now, right? Like, so I
for
think it's
now, yeah,
I think
but
it's dormant until the summer.
but it's like he's sending out tweets that what are you talking about? And now they're saying that he might actually want to stay in Milwaukee. It's just exhausting, man. Like trade the dude at the deadline. I understand why they didn't do it. You could get more in the off season, but it's just it's just a lot. It's just a lot of it. Ended up being a lot of dead weight. Like we were talking about a story that didn't end up going anywhere. So it's like
Yeah.
it was a kind of a waste of time. Um, uh, you don't have any stuff you're working on? Any projects you're working on that you want to promote?
Oh, I mean, I always have go check out the YouTube. Check out Women's Fast Break and Indiana Fever on SI. I'll be on tonight with Denise Salcedo for her Raw recap show. I'm on Busted Open on Sirius XM
Oh,
quite a
word,
bit. And I have a project I'll be announcing soon. I can't talk about it right now.
word.
Yeah.
Nice. Like, good for you, man. Good for you.
Yeah.
The Rumble. So I'm not a big I told you this. Like I'm not as big of a wrestling fan as I was growing up. I know during the pandemic, you and your son got into it,
Yeah.
but I did watch the Royal Rumble. Thought it was phenomenal. Kind of like you kind of could have predicted what was going to happen, so it didn't come as a shock. But I thought it was a great event. Thought it was a fantastic event.
I didn't even think that was what I thought was the bigger event when the last was Raw last week, the CM Punk Roman Reigns
See, I didn't
promo
watch.
battle.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't watch.
that's the one you got to watch. The promo battle, Roman Reigns and CM Punk, two masters of their craft there, and Roman came off particularly strong.
And what was the prize?
Well, they're because Roman won the Royal Rumble, he gets
Yeah.
to pick the champion of his choosing, and he picks CM Punk, so that's the main event of WrestleMania now.
Oh, okay, okay, cool. Oh, cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool. Yeah, I thought the event was cool. But yeah, man, yo, make sure you guys follow him at Robin Lundberg. He is on Twitter. He's got the TikTok ringing off. You on IG too, right?
Yeah, I'm on all those things. Yeah.
Good to chop it up with you, man. I
All right.
appreciate you taking some time. We'll definitely do this again. I'll talk to you soon, second half, and maybe NBA playoffs, or if we get some WNBA news that pops off here, I'll bring you back on. So appreciate you, brother.
All right, later on, dude.
That was Robin Lundberg. He does an excellent job. So follow him on all of his social media accounts at Robin Lundberg. I'll keep you guys here for a minute here because I see the comments coming in. Two giant goofballs. What's up, everybody? Two giant goofballs. Best artist in the game, Paul McCartney. The rest combined aren't as good. My man Kevin Zwicker, 96, chimes in. Hey, my guys, shout out to Bunny for having the biggest halftime ever. Pretty decent gap between him and the second biggest. Yo, that was a phenomenal show last night. Phenomenal show last night. And even if you are someone like me who does not like understand all of Spanish, like I have my bits and pieces that I'm able to pick up. My wife is 100% Puerto Rican, so my kids are half Puerto Rican. I was at the in-laws last night; they had it rocking. This was a big time event. And from a cultural standpoint, it was just beautiful to see like what that type of performance does for the Puerto Rican community, what it does for the Latin community, what it does for Hispanics all around the world. And the idea that people can watch a moment of unity where he is quite literally being inclusive of every single culture. He's like, you know, go United States of America. Like we are all one. Like this is about us. Nothing about what we saw yesterday was what people described it leading up to it. Divisive, hatred. It was none of that. It was all about unity. It was all about performance. It was all about art. It was all about literally taking you to the streets of Puerto Rico and how he was able to put on full display what that culture is like, from going to the bodega, to watching people play dominoes, piraguas, the dancing. Like it was a giant party on the biggest stage, and it was so cool to watch. So, I have this rule in 2026. We have our New Year's resolutions. This is not really a New Year's resolution, but you come into the year like, all right, what are some of my goals? What are some things about myself I want to change? And one of the things I wanted to change, and this is not me being self-aggrandizing, but it's like I'm not arguing with dummies. In 2026, I'm just not going to argue with dummies. And I did a lot of that last year, and I found myself doing it, with the whole Nicki Minaj situation. You got a lot of dummies in your DMs and in your mentions who are just devoid of knowledge. They are just handcuffed by their own ignorance and their willingness to align themselves and have an allegiance to a particular segment of our country that is just not going to end up being on the right side of history. And I'm just done participating in conversations, participating in discussions willingly with people who I know I can't change their minds. Like you are fastened into a seatbelt of what you believe. There is nothing I can present you, whether it be facts, information that is rooted in like real or numbers and stat. Like there's nothing I can do that is going to change your perspective. So if you want to be someone who's like encourage is not the word. If you want to be someone who's fueled by like chaos and confusion and hatred and division, like go ahead, do your thing, man. We just gonna do what Bad Bunny said yesterday. The only way you can fight hate is to do so with love. So I thought it was an incredible performance. Shout out Cardi B. We saw her up in there. We saw Jessica Alba. We saw Ricky Martin. So he was bringing out the heavy hitters. Obviously, Lady Gaga doing her song and salsa rendition yesterday. That was pretty cool. Dope experience, man. Dope experience. And it was fun to have a front row seat to not just watching it on my television screen, but watching like the people around me who are Puerto Rican and what it did for them. And I asked my wife as we went to bed last night, like, what did that mean for Puerto Rican? She was just like, everything. So fantastic performance. Nets certainly not making it out the East. That was a shot at Robin Lundberg. Jose and Brooklyn saying, great convo, guys. If anyone was upset by their show, they need to simply look at the mirror. That's a them problem, not a Bad Bunny problem. The people who are upset. So let's break this down, because I think that this comment is very interesting. I refuse to believe people are actually upset. I think a lot of it is they are becoming everything that they despised. They despised wokeness. Well, nothing quite says being woke like literally creating your own halftime show in protest of the original halftime show. That to me feels a little woke, but whatever. They are becoming hypocrites because, man, why do we need two national anthems? Well, all of a sudden we need two halftime shows? Okay, make that make sense to me. They also are becoming the very problem, and that is the fake outrage that they complained about. No one was actually outraged. You know how I know they weren't outraged? Because all of the people who said, I'm not watching, the second Bad Bunny exited that stage, had an entire like dissertation, bullet by bullet point, breaking down the entire performance. So it's like odd considering you ain't watch it. So either you're lying and you did watch it, which means you were not outraged, or, and I don't even know which one is worse, you didn't watch it, but already had decided what you wanted your commentary to be, which means I can't trust your opinion. It's like you didn't watch the game, but I'm going to sit here and listen to you give me your take on the game. Like, it doesn't make sense. But to the point that Two Giant Goofballs makes, if anyone was upset by the show, they need to simply look at the mirror and look at the mirror. That's the problem. Like, they are so far past gone, they don't think they need to look in the mirror. They don't see it as a problem. They're like, nah, we're right. And that's the thing that's so funny, man. Like, I just can't imagine. Yo, the halftime show is just what it is. It's a halftime show. And for you to have that like passionate disdain for it, as if anything that was said, anything that was uttered, anything that was put on display somehow is offensive and derogatory. Like, you're just a cornball. Like, you are an actual dork. Like, that's the crazy part. That is the crazy part. You're just a dork. Nothing about that was controversial. There were messages sent. There were stances taken, but I think we've all lost the plot. The idea that standing up for humanity, standing up for people's rights has somehow become political is just crazy to me. Appreciate you, Jose, on the compliment. They were upset that something doesn't cater to them. The fact that they are so used to things catering to them is a sign of privilege. They need to stop refusing to acknowledge the obvious. Very privileged. And we saw people talking out the side of their mouth. I don't even want to utter a lot of the racism that hit my timeline. Just people saying like the wildest things that somehow in 2026 is just like welcomed. Like, you've just embraced that side of you. You can just be open about it. It's crazy. But like the chick who yesterday, again, a bad actor, a coward, at the game, had someone record her watching the other halftime show just so that it can go viral, and then complained about how she lost 2,000 followers. Like, you're just, I can't take people like that seriously. You wanted to go viral, you wanted to have your moment, like you wanted to make it about you, and then you wanted to complain and pretend or purport yourself to be the victim. Like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. It's crazy. It's insane, man. It's insane. Hit me up in the comments. Hit me up in the comments. Want to hear from y'all about the game. Yo, it's crazy. We haven't even spoken about the game. Now, look, I appreciate a nice little defensive battle, little tug of war. So there was like for the first half, I was like, this is dope, man. Two great defenses going at it. Quarterbacks like missing by a hair. But this is going to shape up to be a nice finish. And it didn't end up being that way. I thought the second half was boring. New England just had no answer up front for Seattle's defensive line. And Drake May played maybe the worst game he has all season long. And I'm not going to kill him for it. He's a second-year quarterback. It's still a phenomenal year for him. Finished second in league MVP. And he still has a long runway. And, you know, he's got a high ceiling. Like, that dude can ball. We saw some of the throws he made yesterday. It was a bad interception that ended the game, but on the previous drive where they scored the touchdown, he had some darts against maybe the best defense in football. So I and it's pains me to say this as a Jet fan. I'm not sitting here and in eulogizing the Patriots season, closing the door on Drake May being an elite quarterback. I think that that's silly. But as we've seen in NFL history, like how hard it is to get back, ask Dan Marino. Aaron Rodgers won, never got back. Like ask these quarterbacks who have been there. Matt Stafford, who for a long time was stuck, in Detroit, gets to the Rams, wins the Super Bowl, and like now they're great teams, might not ever get back there. As Joe Burrow got there against Stafford and doesn't look like at this point, he's going to get back there. Ask Lamar and Josh, who are better quarterbacks than Drake, have never gotten there. So if you are trying to analyze this, I think on one as a Patriot fan, I think on one side it's like, dang man, we were right there. Like this was a 9-0 game. Like we're still in it. We still, despite how poorly we played, can win this. You then get stomped out because your offensive line just crumbled. Your offensive line crumbled. And I think we're learning that Drake needs some more weapons around him. But you've got a nice infrastructure. You've got the head coach. You've got the quarterback. You've got some blue chippers. So I think Christian Gonzalez had and that's what's going to get lost too. How excellent of a game Christian Gonzalez had yesterday. Like that dude was everywhere. My man was balling. And so the Patriots will be fine, right? They should be the favorites to win the AFC East. But then on the flip side, it's like that was our chance. Now, knowing New England because of the organization, they'll get back there, but you just never know. From Seattle's standpoint, listen, people today will try to make it about, oh, Sam Darnold wasn't that good, and they won the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl, and that defense is elite. Kenneth Walker the fourth, who I remember in a big game the Jets had back in 2021 against Seattle. This was either the day before or after Christmas, and I was doing a show with Dan Grasso on ESPN Radio in New York. And like we were all like, this was a huge game for the Jets. They had started the season 7-4. It's like, all right, this is a must-win game. First play from scrimmage, Kenneth Walker, 99 yards down the field. And I looked at my father-in-law and I was like, yeah, we're cooked. So that's like every time I see him on the field, and he was really good yesterday, wins the MVP, it just brings me back to the heartbreak of that 2021 season with my Jet defense being so good. And they somehow, after a 7-4 start, finished the season with 6 straight losses. Like it was just unbelievable. But shout out to the Seahawks, man. Incredible season. Mike McDonald, have yourself a year. Second season as the head coach, wins the Super Bowl. The Ravens, that was a tremendous loss, having him go to Seattle, but what a benefit it was to have him. If you're a Seahawks fan now, Clint Kubiak, the OC, he's going to the Raiders to have his franchise quarterback, and he's got some weapons there. So I'm excited to see how that, after we get through the draft and the offseason, how that's going to pan out for Kubiak. But listen, dud of a game, was not great by any extent. But for those of you who like parity, who think parity is great, you got some parity. You got two teams in the Super Bowl that before the season, no one expected to be there. And they played yesterday. And I think that the team that was better, hands down, won the game, despite the fact that I picked against the team that was hands down better. I just felt like we were going to get New England like finding a way to even after they pulled it to within 19-7 and they're driving. And I'm like, here's where it happens. They're driving. It's 19-7. And then Drake May throws that pick. Like just a terrible interception. If they drive and actually score, so they were on the New England 44. 2nd and 3 from the New England 44, and he throws a deep bomb, and it just was way off. Um, that's a tremendous play by Julian Love, even though he just was kind of sitting there waiting for it. But if they score, it's 19-14. And now all of a sudden, all the pressure is back on Seattle. And you're like, oh boy, is Sam Darnold about to see ghosts again? But even if, and the Patriot defense have been playing well, even if Seattle gets a field goal, it's still 22-14. So it's a one possession game, and Drake's going to get the ball back down one score. And now we've got an epic finish to the game. That epic finish, unfortunately, never happened. And so, very disappointing just from the standpoint of like the quality of game for 4 quarters. And we just kind of got robbed. Like if Bo Nix doesn't get hurt, the Broncos are in that game yesterday, and it's Broncos Seahawks. I think I know Bo Nix. We look at him as someone who was only great in fourth quarters, but I just feel like that offense would have been able to do more against Seattle. Now, maybe Seattle was going to beat whoever came out the AFC. They're that good, but that's a missed opportunity. You also got to think about the Bills. It's like, wow. You saw, and we kept talking about how wide open the AFC was. The AFC, with no Patrick, no Lamar, and no Burrow, if you're Josh and the Bills, man, what a wasted, missed opportunity. Even if you're Lamar Jackson, like having a chance week 18 to get into the postseason. You look at the field, you should have been in the Super Bowl. Burrow, it's different because he had the turf toe that took him out for a month. But those 3 quarterbacks who are trying to come for the Patrick Mahomes throne, one of the biggest takeaways to me of that game is big missed opportunity. Because as great as Seattle played on defense, they were very beatable yesterday. Like that's the part that we should not allow to get lost. They scored 17 points in the fourth quarter, and one of those touchdowns came off of the pick 6 that had gone the other way. And so that's going to, in some ways, kind of like inflate the scoring. But fam, it was a 12-0 game headed into the fourth quarter. 12-zip. They were very beatable. So if you are the Ravens, if you are the Bengals, if you are the Bills, the supposed heavy hitters in the AFC, you watch that game, you watch the playoffs this year, and then you watch that game, and you're just like, man, this could have been ours. For all of the years we had to watch Mahomes run roughshod on this conference, all those years since 2018, he's not in it. We got to get through the Chargers. We got to get through what ended up being left of the Broncos post Bo Nix. We got to get through the Steelers and their 41, 42-year-old quarterback. And we get to the Super Bowl, and we're playing a Seahawks team that the final score says they won 29-13, and it was an impressive blowout victory. But you're watching it, and I kept thinking to myself, New England's going to steal this because they can't do anything, but Seattle's leaving that door open. And I've seen the Patriots do this far too often to count them out. And for that game to be 12-0 entering the fourth, that door was wide open. So if you're Josh, if you're Lamar, if you're Joe, it's like, bruh, are we ever going to get an opportunity like on a silver platter like that? Are we ever going to get that opportunity? Now, maybe next year, right? Maybe next year. And so maybe you get this opportunity because Patrick says he wants to be there for week 1. but who really knows if that's going to happen? But based off of what we saw from the Chiefs last year, they've got a lot of they have a lot they need to fix on that offense. And look, maybe the secret sauce is just Eric Bieniemy, but there's a lot of work that offense needs. A lot of work that offense needs. Um, I'm not even trying to name drop. This is not me trying to name drop here. I promise y'all. But I got a text from my man Noah Eagle, who is absolutely killing it right now. Absolutely killing it. He's gonna be calling an All-Star game for the NBA on NBC. He did some hosting duties for NBC yesterday for the Super Bowl. He's going to be involved in the Olympics, and I'd have to imagine, Tarico, who called his first Super Bowl yesterday, he's going nowhere. Shout out to Tarico, by the way. Called the Super Bowl after the game. He's doing stuff for the Olympics on the field. Man, what a goat! I'd have to imagine if Noah keeps up his trajectory, like he's in line to become one of the faces of the network post Tarico. So I'm just really happy for him. I wanted to give him a shout out on here. But if you guys want to talk about anything Super Bowl related, we got into the game itself, the recap. We talked about the halftime show that I thought was phenomenal, and in the conversation for the best halftime shows of all time. That was pretty remarkable what Bad Bunny did on that stage yesterday. Um, and it was cool, man. It was cool. Shout out to Robin Lundberg. He hopped on here. So if you guys missed it, uh, you can go back on YouTube. Um, oh, that's what he was talking about. Robin Lundberg. Um, because he said here he's got some news coming up and that he's going to drop soon. And I'm going back in the conversation that I had with him, and he mentioned something to me that he's going to announce at some point. And I think if what he's announcing, that's going to be pretty cool for him. But yeah, if you guys want to hop in the comments, talk about anything from the past weekend. We did see the Knicks get stomped out on Friday night in Detroit, but came back pretty strong in that game against the Celtics. So salvaged the weekend in that regard. Super Bowl game wasn't great, um, but I thought the better team won. Happy for Sam Darnold. I got my Jets hat on, and we also saw what might be the greatest halftime show performance ever. What AFC team would it be? Seattle yesterday. I don't understand your question. What AFC team would have beaten Seattle yesterday? I think if the Bills get to the Super Bowl, they beat Seattle. I think the Broncos had a chance with a healthy Bo Nix. The Broncos had proven all year long they can hang with the big dogs. They were the number one seed for a reason. They beat the Chiefs when the Chiefs had Mahomes. They were exceptional all year long. The Denver Broncos in these fourth quarters. Now they got waxed in that Jags game, but they beat the Packers. That was an impressive win. They beat the Eagles. That was an impressive win. At week 4, 28-3, beating Cincinnati. Was Joe hurt? Yeah, Joe was hurt at that point, but they had an abundance of tremendous wins this year, especially of the comeback fourth quarter variety. And so when you get to the postseason and they beat the Bills the way that they did in that overtime game, if Bo Nix, who was exceptional in that one, doesn't get hurt, they beat the Patriots in the conference championship game. And then I think they beat the Seahawks yesterday. That Seahawks team was beatable, man. They were beatable. It's just one of the many advantages they had in that game ended up being the difference maker, and one that New England just simply had no answer for, and that was up front. Will Campbell and them boys was just getting annihilated. Did Vrabel get out coached? Thought the game would be closer. I look, Marcus Spears, Orlovsky, like they'll be able to break down, I guess, different looks on offense and diagnose if there are some things that Josh McDaniels could have done better to help his young quarterback. So is it on the table that he got outcoached? I guess it's yes, it's on the table. If from an X's and O's standpoint, and I am not like a coach or one of these analysts who can sit there and break down like the A gap and the B gap and like here's a disguise and like how do you offset like so it's on the table that that happens. But I did not watch this game yesterday and think to myself, man, Vrabel's getting out coached. I thought Vrabel lost to the better team. And the fact that it was only 12 nothing entering the fourth quarter spoke to that. Because the Seahawks were all game long were great defensively. Their offense couldn't do much outside of Kenneth Walker, who was, doing his thing on the ground. Their offense couldn't do anything. 12 nothing. Darnold missed the easy touchdown pass to JSN, wide open. And there was a lot of throws he missed in that game. But I just thought, like, I thought in watching it, eventually the Patriots were going to find a way to, like, snatch victory from the jaws of defeat because I've seen this organization do it far too often for my liking. But in retrospect, to counter what I thought in real time, to me, the better analysis is it's quite simply the best team in the NFL at this point won the game despite not playing well, and that speaks to how great of a team they were. Sam didn't do much yesterday. Their defense was on point. So the better team won. Denver's defense definitely would have been better than New England. I didn't even think New England's defense was bad. That's the thing. So the Seahawks scored 29 points. 7 came on defense. So 22 points. And you held them to 12 points through 3 quarters. So the Patriots defense, I thought, played very well. Seattle's defense was suffocating. So that then begs the question, which AFC offenses would have been better suited to, in that game, perform better? Now, obviously, you got to take into account, could those better offenses have had their defense also play as good as New England's defense played through 3 quarters? But yeah, I think if Buffalo gets to the Super Bowl, Buffalo beats the Seahawks because Josh would not have been as frazzled and as stymied as Drake was. And this is not me taking a shot at Drake. He didn't play well yesterday, but he's in his second year. He'll learn and grow from this. We saw Jaden get we saw him get blown out in the NFC Championship game last year. But I think the Bills offense would have been better. I think the Jags offense would have been a better Super Bowl. The Patriots offense did not play well at any point during the postseason. They did not play well at any point during this postseason. So Buffalo, Denver, Jacksonville, yeah, those teams would have had a shot to beat the Seahawks yesterday, who, again, I remind y'all, they were very beatable. They were very beatable in that game. It just didn't pan out that way. All right, let's see what we got here. What we got here? Keep the comments coming in. Keep the comments coming in. I'm gonna remind y'all that I'm running the 2026 United Half Marathon, and I'm teaming up with Sips and Kicks Kids Foundation. That they do a tremendous job. Tremendous job. The Sips and Kicks Foundation do a tremendous job in helping underprivileged kids. So if you go to my Twitter account, you go to my Instagram account, you go to my YouTube page, the link is there. A lot of you are watching from Twitter right now. So if you want to get in on contributing to fill the kids up, Sips and Kicks believes every child deserves to have a fresh, healthy fresh and healthy food to eat and chance to play. They are on a mission to nourish under-resourced elementary and middle school children with fresh fruit and vegetable smoothies and engage and inspire them with professionally led soccer training. So I've teamed up with them to help raise money for a great cause. And if you want to contribute to said great cause, head over to my Twitter timeline. Pinned to my profile, you will have this fundraisers link right here, highlighted, and then submit a donation. And if you want to get down with the cause, submit that donation. No donation is too small. We are running this marathon next month, March 15th. We're going from Prospect Park to Central Park, which will take us over the Brooklyn Bridge, over the FDR, up Times Square, 42nd Street, and then to Central Park. So if you want to get down with that, I would love to have your help. Head to my Twitter profile and submit your donation to the Sips and Kicks Foundation. I appreciate you guys in advance. Yeah, so not a great game yesterday, but NFL season is over. That's sad, man. No more football Sundays. Everyone called this though. They said, the Super Bowl was Seattle and the Rams, and they pretty much nailed it. Shout out to Sam Darnold though, getting that ring. I am not a Jet fan who is salty today. I was rooting for Sam. I wanted to see him get that dub. So shout out to him. Tremendous job. You can continue to weigh in via the chat with the comments. We're heading on out of here soon. So continue to weigh in on the comments. Continue to weigh in on the comments if you want to get some thoughts in before we head on out of here. Once again, at Ty D Butler is where you can find me on Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube page. I had to wear my Jets hat today because I wanted to show support for the organization that drafted Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, yes, the Super Bowl winning quarterback. The Jets got that pick right, baby. So we are deserving of a celebration today. You feel me? You feel me? We're here, baby. They got it. They got it right. They drafted him, and I am not here for the revisionist history. The folks who want to make the case, well, the Jets should have held on to Sam Darnold. Y'all got to remember his last year. It was year 3 of his career. My man threw 9 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, had a passer rating of 73, and now he's got a new head coach and a new general manager with the 2nd overall pick. So, look, would it have been better in retrospect for them to keep Sam, build around him, trade down, get Jamar Chase? Of course. Or if those things work out, of course. But none of us in real time thought the Jets were making a decision that was the wrong one, and that was moving on from Sam. None of us in real time thought that. So I'm just not here for the garbage. Like, you can make, and my problem with this is that you can kill the Jets for many things, bro. Like, they give you so much material, they give you so much ammunition. It's not even funny. To our dismay, the people like me who root for this team. You don't have to go reaching. You don't have to go search for it. It's right there. The Sam Darnold stuff is not one of them. Does it suck to sit here? Remember, it suck for Sam. Does it suck to sit here as a Jet fan rooting for a team that can't find a franchise quarterback to sit here knowing that you drafted this dude, he then went elsewhere and won a Super Bowl? Yeah, of course, that's going to sting. But I was rooting for him last night. One reason I was rooting for him was because I can't root for the Patriots. That's just never going to happen. But the second reason was it's a cool story. It's a cool story. Jose in Brooklyn. I'm all for the revisionist history. Zach Wilson was never better than Sam. But that's the problem. We are looking at it, to me, through the wrong lens. It's not who do we think is the better quarterback now, Sam Darnold or Zach Wilson? Obviously, it's Sam Darnold. At the time, the Jets had 3 years of evidence to support Sam Darnold was not the guy. So they now are tasked with making a decision. Do we pick up his 5th-year option and do whatever with the second pick, or do we decide to move off from him because, again, 9 touchdowns, 11 picks, 73 passer rating, not good enough to pick up your 5th-year option. So if you want to say the decision on who they drafted at quarterback was wrong, going with Zach Wilson, nobody's going to deny that. Nobody is going to spend a second of their time debating that, because we obviously know they got it wrong with Darnold. But pretending like in the aftermath of that season, they should have kept Sam, I just think is disingenuous, because no one thought that. No one thought that. But yeah, he's a champion. Shout out to him. I'm happy for him. Good for Sam Darnold. Go get that bag now. Seattle, that's a hell of a team. Great defense. And hopefully Sam continues to get better, because he dusted off that it was back-to-back pathetic performances to end the Vikings season last year, where they were in a week 18 win and get the 1 seed situation. They lost because he was bad. They then dropped to the 5 seed. He plays awful again in the first round of the playoffs, and now he's on Seattle. Great redemption story. If anyone should be kicking themselves, it has to be Minnesota, who's now in the market for a quarterback right after they had Sam Darnold, and he led you to 14 wins. I appreciate you guys for tuning into the show today. Hit me up. Head to my Twitter account. I told y'all about the fundraiser I'm doing. So if you want to submit a donation to the fundraiser, no donation is too small. So head over to the Sips and Kicks Foundation. Head over to my Twitter account where you can see the link. I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. It's been love. Holla at your boy. Talk to y'all later.